welcome back everyone to Skyrim's Mod of the Day episode 257, and in this episode I'm looking at animations. This is the first in a long line of mods that I missed to review, and let's get started. Now you can probably guess what this does. It basically unlocks Skyrim's default animations that you see NPCs use, and it allows your player character to use them when activating everyday objects, which makes the game more immersive and adds a bit more realism to it. But it is not for everyone, I have to admit, but you might like it. Anyway, items include of course looting corpses and any containers, harvesting plants, lockpicking of all types, that means doors and chests, opening doors and activating levers, consuming food and potions, and equipping armour. Now of course all of these are in third person because the first person view doesn't work, of course, because it was not made for the game in the first place. However, if you are using the immersive first person view, it does work, so that's a little gem right there. Of course I will show you that version of it as well in the video. Anyway, the mod works by simply adding a script to the object, say a chest, which blocks the activation request when you try to open it. And it basically reroutes this request and plays the animation first, and when that's finished it will then activate the item. Now let me go ahead and open the MCM first, because you can customize this quite heavily, which is always a good thing. As you can see in the main area, you have the usual stuff like mod enabled, block activation. That is of course the way the mod works. You can disable it if you are having conflicts with other mods. So if it's working fine, just leave it on. If you're having problems, try turning it off and it might work. Anyway, as you can see, you can also activate any which one you want in the first place, so you don't have to have all of them. I mean, some of these are better. I prefer the harvesting and lockpicking. If you don't like any more, like I'm not a fan of the drinking animation, if you're not a fan of these, you can turn them off. If you just want the harvesting or if you just want the lockpicking, you can pick and choose, and that's another reason why I love this, because when the mod author gives us choices, it's just great. It allows us to really make the mod how we like it. Anyway, we've got harvesting, looting, lockpicking, like I said, drinking, activating animation, like it says there, levers and chains, and obviously doors as well. Opening, actually that's doors, you know what I mean. Now, before I demonstrate these for you, I'd just like to tell you below the main tab you will notice there are individual tabs which allow greater customization, which is always great. I mean, if we look at harvesting plants, you can see we can randomize the length, and it goes for all of these. There's slight differences per tab, such as when you go into the lockpicking, you will notice the animation length depends of a lock level, so a novice one will be much quicker compared to a master level, so the animation will be faster. I do love how on all of these pretty much you can change the range of randomization and the time, because the author says it allows for a better, more natural feel, and when you think about it, that is realistic. Sometimes it could take you 5 seconds to pick a lock, sometimes 20 seconds, so that's a great little feature. And if you don't like it, you can always disable it. And it pretty much works for all of these. No animation if key required. That's of course if you the door requires a key, as it says. And you can pretty much customize these to your heart's content. Right, now to start with, I'm going to demonstrate lockpicking, as it's my favourite area. It always is. I just wish Elder Scrolls Online lockpicking system could be transferred to Skyrim, but that could possibly never happen. Anyway, moving on. We've got a door here conveniently locked for us. If I activate it, you will see the animation. You'll notice the character looks around quite suspiciously, checking if anyone's watching, see if anyone can see his dastardly deed in progress, and the animation of course will vary in length. You see that was really short, for example. He barely even got his hands together that time, and it will depend on what settings you put in. But if I go into first person mode, you'll notice it pops out, shows the animation, and back in again straight away. That is because I've got the third person animation locked. If you turn it off, of course, you'll get no animation, because there is no animation for first person. Now, if you've got first person immersive view, if you activate that, as you can tell by the shaky camera, this time, of course, because you can see everything with this camera, you'll be able to see your animation. You see your character looking around and then doing his little trick with his hands, basically going for the lock. And if you're saying it's not close enough to the door, damn it, simply walk over. That's all it is, just walk a bit closer to the door and it'll work. There you go. Now it'll look more realistic, like so. Of course, this is optional, you don't need this actual first person immersive view, but as you can see, if you want total immersion, well, it can certainly help. And while I'm here, I might as well demonstrate opening doors real quick. You see, a quick push and the door will open. And again, I'll show you it in immersive first person view. Just like that. Alright, then I decided to enter the Whiterun Guards barracks so I could destroy some pitiful Whiterun Guards, so I could demonstrate for you the looting corpses animation as well as the containers, since we've got two in here of variable sizes, being the end table and the bookcase. First of which, let me go and try it out on the guard for you guys, and this is one of my favourites because it's very seamless, as you just saw right there. He reaches down, the inventory screen opens, and then when you exit, he stands up after continuing the animation. It's very seamless and it's one of my favourites out of the lot, simply because it looks like it belongs the most. Let me show you it in immersive first person view now. And it works pretty damn well in that as well, if I'm honest. And there we go. Now of course, like I mentioned before, the scripts kind of check where your character is in relation to the object you're activating in the game world. So these two containers, the end table and the bookcase, do have different animations because one is taller than the other. So let me go to the bookcase, or I should say the end table, and demonstrate it for you right now. Your character looks around, arms a bit wide. It does work better for wider objects such as chests and bookcase of course, but again it's pretty damn seamless, just like the guard. And in immersive first person view, I just stole a plate by accident there. Luckily the commander is asleep and saw nothing. You see, that works pretty damn well as well. Now, finally, the bookcase. Let me show you this. You notice it's a different animation now, he's standing up instead. And it has the appearance of a guy looking around, or your gal, if you're playing a female toon. You notice he's not exactly, it does look a bit suspicious, if I'm honest, but I suppose that's just a character literally looking around inside the container, so it works pretty well. Of course, this means in immersive first person view, your character's head will move. So you'll see quite a bit of, you know, head bobbing, but it's realistic, so I suppose it's all good. Anyway, moving on. Not much more to go now, and I'm going to show you equipping armour and food/potions. Now, of course, same animation plays no matter what piece of armour you're equipping, and it doesn't apply to weapons. Here we go. And it's a cross-armed kind of motion. Before, it was set to a measly 0.7 seconds, but it looked weird, so I extended it in the slider options to a bigger one. Again, it's not one of my favourites. In my opinion, I'd recommend disabling it. But here we go, I'll show you the immersive first person version. Again, it's just a cross arm, so I wouldn't keep that on, in my opinion, but you might like it. Next up, of course, is the potions and food. The food is defaulted just like the game does to bread. So no matter what you eat, honey, mead, it's going to be a piece of bread. Originally, your character just took it out of the pocket and it literally glitched off because it was on 0.7 seconds. But I've extended that to the maximum of 3.5 and it works better, but it's not perfect. As you can see, it doesn't even reach the mouth. But the author could fix that, I suppose, by either extending the slider even more or giving us the option to actually make it an endless loop until you actually move your character, like other animation mods have done in the past. Anyway, the potion ones apply the same to the same slider, I should say, I believe anyway, if I remember correctly. And again, on 0.7 seconds, they didn't look right. On 3.5, they do look perfect, I have to admit. It's just enough time for your character to grab the bottle and take a quick swig of it. Of course, you can view that in immersive first-person view, but I wouldn't recommend it simply because it does clip, and even with immersive first-person view's clip option turned on, it will still clip, simply because the object is coming way too close to the camera. But you probably could fix that if you go into immersive first-person view settings and really change the clipping distance. But there it is regardless. But that will do it for today's episode. My opinions on the mod, I think it's a really useful mod to add extra immersion, although some of the animations are not perfect. But the beauty of this mod is the author gave us control and allows us to turn off anyone we don't like, such as the equipping armour in my case. Either way, this mod seems to be in continuous development, so it's going to change regardless by the time you watch this most probably. So, you know, it probably will improve. Either way, if you would like this mod, go and check it out on the Nexus, give it a download, and if you really like it, of course, endorse it. And same with the video, if you liked it, like it, if you disliked it, of course, dislike it, and comment and subscribe. Anyway guys, I'll see you tomorrow with my review of I Need. See you next time.